Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to paint two beautiful watercolor snowflake holiday cards. These will be super fun, super easy, and you can easily do with your kids if you have any. Or if you're like me, my nieces. So let's get started. First, make sure you're painting on the right side. If your paper came from watercolor pad, you don't need to do this, but my paper came from a pack. The paper I'm working on today is from the B Company. I already talked about this in my last holiday video that linked down below, so do check that out if you're curious. And like the other video, I will be fast forwarding this by 2 times the speed in real time. Start by wetting the paper. It doesn't matter where you put it or how, we just need to get the paper wet and give it a nice sheen. This will give us beautiful soft effects when we lay down the colors and allow them to dry. This method is great if you're a little messy, or you're in a hurry to make holiday cards but don't have a lot of time, or you just want to de-stress. You don't need any skills for this, and there's no need to be perfect. In fact, this method thrives on chaos, so have fun with it. As you can see, all I'm doing is dabbing paint on places where it's wet. You can use any colors you want, but whatever you do, don't dab in one color. I recommend you use variations of colors to create different bursts. The color will naturally blend into each other and create soft and pleasing effects for the eyes. You can use any color of paint you want. For my own, I want to give my card a frosty kind of effect, so I'm using cold blues, both deep and light. The paints I'm using are from Daniel Smith and Core. They are what I have on hand, but you can use whatever color or water-based marker you have. Any of those will work for this method. For those who are Daniel Smith and Core, and you're curious about what colors I used, the ones I used are Phthalo Blue, Prussian Blue, and Mayan Dark Blue from Daniel Smith. And then I used Ultramarine Blue and Phthalo Blue from Core. Oh, and I also used Mountain Blue from Schminke. Alright, so once I'm happy with the colors and the blends, I'm going to just make it a bit more interesting by adding splatters around it. You can skip this step if you want to, but I did it for the visual interest, and sometimes if the splatters lands in the wet areas, it creates this snowflake effect, so it's really beautiful and awesome to have. Just be careful when you do this method because it will get a little messy, but it's nothing that you can't clean up easily. Okay, so now that we're done with our watercolor painting, we're going to let it dry while we make our second one. This one will be even more easy than the first one. Like the first card, you want to wet the paper first. However, instead of the chaotic shape we had earlier, we're going to keep it really simple and controlled. I'm going to wet one side of the paper. You can wet whichever side you want, but I just want on the left-hand side. What I'm trying to create here is a gradient, so I'm first putting down a darker shade of blue. I intended to grab dark Mayan blue from Daniel Smith, but by accident I dipped into Mayan blue genuine instead, so like I said in my other video, there are no mistakes in watercolors, only happy accidents. And this happy accident is that I think there's some natural sparkle in this Mayan blue genuine just because I think that's what all the genuine I think that's what all the genuine lines are from, that they're from natural minerals. So I ended up with a nice natural sparkle in my painting, which is perfect for snowflakes anyway. The next step, as you can already see here, is to add a second color in and blend them when they're already wet. This will give us a nice transition color. And you just want to keep on working on that until you get the colors and blend you want. And then you're finished. So, while we wait for our second painting to finish drying, let's go back to the first card. As you can see, our first card has dried to a beautiful splash of blue. To add snowflakes, I'll be using a snowflake stencil I got from Etsy and a sponge from Mr. Clean. I'll link you to the shops in the description below. But just so you know, I do not get anything from them. Maybe one day I will, but not today. Make sure you wet the sponge first before you wipe it on your painting. This was my first time trying out this method, so I'm really glad it worked out for me. What the sponge is supposed to do is lift out the paint from the paper. What I didn't expect was that the sponge was scrubbing the paper out as well. To make sure your stencil does not move, I recommend you taping it down with washi tape. So if you're not using 100% cotton paper like I am, using the sponge may actually ruin or even destroy your hard work. I would recommend you use acrylic or gouache along with a stippling or sponge brush from places like Michael's or Joann's. Just stipple the paint on instead of lifting like I am doing. I think opaque white ink stamp should work too. If you don't have any of that, snowflake die cuts work beautifully as well. You can lift out as many snowflakes as you want. After you're happy with the design, set it aside to dry while we go back to the other card. For this one, I won't be doing any lifting. Instead, I'll be using some snowflake stickers I got at Michael's. Once again, you can use whatever method you want. I just wanted to show you the different possibilities you can use. After I was happy with the sticker placements, I went back and erased some of the watercolor out. There was no special reason for this, I just wanted to see if I liked the effects more. You can skip this step if you want. If you don't have the magic erase sponge like I do, a napkin or towel should work if the colors aren't so pigmented. So, what do you think? Easy and gorgeous, isn't it? And again, you can use any color that you want. I just happen to like blue and I wanted to feel cold and frosty, so I chose those colors. So after my snowflake paintings dried, I glued them on the cards using a glue stick. You can use whatever you want, but that's what I did. After that, I added a border around the card using washi tape to bring in the focus to the paintings. Like with everything else, this step is optional. I just thought a border around the paintings would bring everything together. Since the washi tape is a lot bigger than the card itself, I just used an X-Acto knife to cut away the edges on a self-healing mat. I did the same thing to the other card too, only I gave it a darker color. Well, that's it for these two cards. I hope you had a great time watching this and you're inspired to make your own holiday cards this year. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to see more from me in the future. Bye!